Hey there, Shalligators. Okay, I know yesterday we talked about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and you guys are probably like, I don't want to hear about her anymore. Tough shit. Neither do I, but there's a lot to learn. So I asked you on my Instagram yesterday, like, what's the topic here? And we tackled yesterday, what was it? How to not just completely lose your identity in the new boyfriend that you have. But the next largest topic that you guys submitted was how to stop being a serial dater. How to stop being a serial dater and just be okay being single. So many people said that. So I wanted to do a whole separate topic on it because it's really, really true. And you know who does that all the time? Me, I do. I love boys. I love boys. So I'm going to tell you what I've learned. And I'm going to help you guys through this. I'm going to tell you why I don't... We're going to get into it. But before we do, you guys join the Shallontrage. If you want to talk to me, if you want to talk to literally hundreds of other Shalligators, not too many, not like it's too hard to manage. But if you want to make some friends, if you want to make some connections, maybe you just moved, maybe you're in the same place and you need a new group of friends. I have 5 bonus videos from me every week. I mean, I do a lot of crying and raging and talking about things. Let's see, today we've been talking about how to torture your ex on using social media. I've given you some hacks on dealing with anxiety, and I did a whole video on how to make friends, which is the number one question I get. I'm going to do a course on it. And speaking of courses, in the Shallontrage, you get access to last year's Evil Week, my Sexy Sessions hookup tutorials, which is like 13 hours of amazing sex tips. I'm going to take you through how you do absolutely everything. My online dating course, plus all the videos I've ever posted on the Shallontrage, so you can binge and go bananas. So as we know, and at the time of filming this, we've already covered the news because I'm doing 2 of these videos in one day, but I'm sure that this morning there was some new news about them being spotted out and whatever, okay? We don't need to go the ins and outs of their relationship again. They're really just vehicles to impart some wisdom. So Taylor is very frequently being accused of being a serial dater. You know, I mean, didn't she say that in the Shake It Off? I feel like she alludes to it all the time. In defense of Taylor, dude, why not? Why not? Why not? Get out there and get your beak wet. She was in a relationship for 6 years. Like, I think we forget how long she was with Joe Alwyn because they kept it so low pro. It's not like they were saturating, everything with us. It was kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot they were together. That is a hell of a long time. A hell of a long time. And it's called the 7-year itch. I don't know if you've ever heard that phrase, for a reason. So every 7 years, first of all, our cells turn over. And psychologically, doctors say we take a big leap. Think about it. When you're 14, you leave behind being a kid. You're a teenager now. When you're 21, all right, I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm a young woman or a young man. You're 28, okay, my 20s, like that party era. Now maybe I'm going to build a family. Maybe I'm going to buckle down and get serious about my career, right? When you look at it like that, you're like, ooh, 7 years makes a big difference. And whether or not the relationship coincided with like one of those particular 7-year markers, 6 years, 7 years, it all kind of comes up to the same, where it's like she could have been going through a very big change, realized she wants something different. We don't actually know what happened with her relationship. But my point is, girl, get out there and spread your wings. Joe Alwyn seems nice, but one dick for 6 years? Bro, okay. And they lived a pretty quiet life. So can anyone blame her for wanting to get out there and like have some fun, have some flings? I'm sure she's hooked up with a bunch of people we don't even know about behind the scenes. Good for her. Be a slut. Get your numbers up. Do whatever you want. I love this. But what if you're looking at your own life and you're like, I didn't get out of a 6-year relationship. I haven't really been in any super long, hardcore relationship where I could justify never feeling like I could be without a guy. This is just kind of how I am. I feel like I always need a dude around me. I always need to be crushing on someone. I always need to be talking to someone. Me too. Listen, I have been like this since I was 5. Since I first realized boys existed, I'm like, oh. They create this noise that just fascinates me. I love boys. I love dating. I even sort of love to be heartbroken. There's beauty in all of it. I'm so emo. I have tried to change this about myself. I have tried to be one of those girls who like, oh, I'm just taking myself off the market for a year. I'm gonna do me. read between the lines. I greatly admire these women. I mean, I talked to you guys in the Shallon Entourage, like, I've been single for 2 years or 6 months. I just took myself off the market. I wasn't even talking to any guys. I wasn't looking at any guy. And I was going to therapy and working on myself. And I'm like, holy shit, really? You haven't had sex? There's no one you were talking to? Like, what? Wow. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable to me. And it is just not that possible for me. I'm just gonna shoot you guys straight about my deficiencies. I know myself. I have tried to do that. When I'm like, nope, I am in none mode. I'm in hibernation. And then it's like, first of all, I'm a horny bitch. I am good at sex and I should be having a lot of it. Sorry. I also just get bored. My work is intense and I focus really hardcore, and it's like, I just need an outlet. And what happens is I reach out to guys that I shouldn't. I'm like, well, I wonder what my ex is doing. Ooh, remember that toxic fuckboy? Doesn't seem so toxic now, because I am so bored. And so, because let me just try to accept, just to err on the side of caution, that this is who I am, that this is my wiring for whatever toxic reason. I love boys. I'm always going to have something that I'm like batting around in my little paws, like a ball of tinfoil, right? How can I mitigate the damage? How can I stop the bleeding? What sort of like fences can I put up to make sure I don't go completely headfirst into every single crush? How can I keep this need? How can I get this? I can scratch a itch without scratching all the way down to the bone. Well, you have a few options. One, and this might sound counterintuitive, but I've actually had very good luck with it. You keep a bunch of different guys on the rotation. That way you're not getting too into any one of them. You're just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna bat over here, I'm gonna bat over there. Like, it's just a little gaggle, enough of a little sprinkling of attention that you aren't, there's just a lack of intensity, right? That you're diffusing this concentrated ball of like love, like feeling energy. You spread it out, right? To lessen the blast. Now, this hinges on not sleeping with a bunch of people. This is tricky. It is a slippery slope. It can definitely be a dangerous situation, right? But I have had, like I said, good luck and just like kind of talking to some people. I'm Snapchatting this guy. I'm on Bumble talking to this guy. It's just enough of a little like, just a little skittle in my mouth to kind of clip that craving. Or, and we touched on this in the last video of how not to just like completely fall into a relationship. You keep a lot of systems in your life. You know, you keep a lot of rigidity. I can't meet up with you late night. I have this. I can't do that. I have this. No, I'm not going to sleep with you, blah, blah. Like, you have systems in your life to keep a ton of intensity at bay. And it's not like, well, you can never fall in love with someone and you're putting up all these walls. It's, I'm trying to meter out, again, this like ball of energy that I have, this emotional, sexual love energy. I'm trying to like meter it out in a normal way so that I'm getting to know someone slowly, right? And I'm building an actual relationship instead of a firework, boom, it's over. Another firework and boom, it's over. You don't want a firework, girl. You want a fireplace. Fireplaces, a fire, it's hard to get going. You know, it takes a while. It takes a while to get going, but it keeps you warmer longer. It's sustainable. Firework isn't. It's here for a good time, not a long time. And if you're a serial dater, that's probably exactly what you've been experiencing. You know, you have had those flashbang and then it's the heartbreak. And then to outrun that heartbreak, you look for another firework, right? You're constantly trying to outrun that pain. So look, if that's how you're feeling, a gaggle is not your answer, right? Because to be honest, you probably can't trust yourself to just keep it encapsulated. Let's be honest. I know what that feeling is like. Try to get comfortable being bored. What is the monster under the bed? Why can't you be alone? What is it? What is that fear brain telling you when you're alone? I'll tell you what mine says. Is you're running out of time. My logic brain says time for what? You don't want to have kids. So like, what is this time? Well, it's Crystal, right? Are we talking Crystal? Crystal, with their cigarette, you're running out of time. You better hurry up. You just better find a guy. You can't be single. You can't risk it. Risk what? What is this time thing? She doesn't really have an answer for that, because she's Crystal. She's the fear brain. And she's just going to keep beating that fear drum until you stop asking questions like, okay, I need a guy. Oh, I'm running out of time. But that's what mine says. That if I get off this sort of like merry-go-round of dating, oh my God, what if I can't get back on? What if I forget how to date? That doesn't sound right. What does that mean? Huh? This is the thing with the fear brain and the fear messaging. You scratch the surface, you push back a little, and they're like, oh, I don't know. Crystal has no response. Okay, if I take a break from dating, then people forget I exist? What are you talking about? That's not how dating works. I'm not a musician. I got to release albums all the time. What are you talking about? Well, I'm just saying. Okay? Here's what it might be, actually. Because those fear messages are perhaps rooted in logic, right? They're rooted maybe in like, well, you need kids, so you need to like keep getting back out there. Okay. The world's going to forget about you. All right. But here's what it actually is. If I take away that emotional fidget spinner that is boys and dating and the makeups and the breakups and the fireworks, then what am I left with? The reality of my life. Drugs come in many different forms. They come in the form of actual drugs, alcohol, gambling, shopping, sex, dating. They come in the form of dating. They come in the form of drama and picking fights. They come in the form of always having some physical problem. So you can't deal with it. I can't deal with this. I'm dealing with blah, 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 blah. I'm dealing with this breakup. If you take that away, what is it you're trying to distract yourself from? Where is the actual thing in your life that needs to get cleaned up? Is that thing you're trying to distract yourself from simply boredom? Simply boredom. I'll tell you what I use guys for. They force me to have balance in my life. They force me to put down the laptop, to stop working, to stop stressing, to stop isolating, and get out there. And so because I don't feel like I can or I'm allowed to put up those boundaries in my life naturally and say, no, I can't answer work emails at 11 p.m. No, I need to like get out and do things even if I don't have someone to do them with. I don't have the guts. I'm too chicken shit to do that. Or again, I feel like I don't have permission. Again, let's push back on that fear brain. Permission from who? From who? My boss? I am my boss. Like, what are you talking about? Then it's like, well, I can just use a guy as a reason. Do you guys have friends who have kids and it's like they're always using their kid as an excuse? Oh, I can't do that. No, the babysitter, we probably can't find a babysitter. And like, you chicken shit, Olivia, stop blaming your kids. You don't want to go. You don't have the time. You're tired. You don't have the money, whatever it is. Like, just be honest about it. But no, they blame their kids, right? Or you have a friend who's using her boyfriend for that. Kind of same. So what are you using love to distract you from? What needs your attention over here? They're like, oh no, I'm gonna look right here at this relationship. Maybe it's, well, if I have a relationship, then no one's going to ask what I'm doing with my life. When I was in college, senior year, oh my God, I saw that everywhere. So many girls got engaged my senior year or like right after graduation. And I was like, ugh, why? Spoiler alert, every single one of them is beyond miserable right now. Beyond miserable. Awful. And I realized looking back that they were getting engaged because when you're a bride, no one's asking about your career. They're not. They're asking about the wedding and oh my God, and then wait, oh my God, are you gonna have babies? That's the next thing. And so because you don't have to actually be an autonomous, fully formed person pursuing your dreams for you and not your husband and not compromising and not meshing, you don't have to do any of that hard work. You get to be a bride. And our culture loves a bride, and we love a pregnant woman, and we love a new mommy, right? That's all very, very, very celebrated. It's not quite the same fanfare to be like, well, I live in a studio apartment in Queens, and I've eaten peanut butter all week because I'm broke, but I'm pursuing my dreams of being a graphic designer. It's like, oh, yeah, good for you. But a bride, you know? And so that's kind of the easy way out. That's the easier way out. But the psyche always comes to call. She's always going to be there knocking at your door. Hey, remember that dream you had? Was it your fucking husband, Troy? Was it? I don't know that it was, Charlotte. I don't know that it was. And you know, watching those girls and watching my life, and I'm sorry not to dunk on them so hard, but like, dude, my life turned out so great. It really turned out so great. And there have been not great times, you know? I've gotten divorced and I've had heartbreak and I'm single right now. I just dumped my boyfriend this weekend because it's pretty obvious he was choosing alcohol over me. Anyway, whole separate story. I am authentic. I have gone after my dreams over and over again. And you know what I learned from watching those girls? You're going to use the same amount of energy running away from your dreams as you could just running towards them. You're running. Why not run in the direction that might make you happy? Boldly, unapologetically. And listen, going after your dreams maybe sounds fun, right? But if you're using romance and love and serial dating to cover up something that is very bad, trauma that you need to unpack, boxes in your house you need to unpack. I'm looking at two of them right now. It's like, well, this is a lot less fun. I don't want to do that. Okay. What would you think if instead of dating, you were using alcohol or meth? Let's say I told you that, oh, here's a video about using meth. And I use meth because I don't want to deal with trauma. I don't want to deal with boredom. Would you guys be like, queen? Yes, queen. You'd be like, Shallon, do not do that. Now you just have two problems. You have the thing that you're trying to run from, and you also have meth as a new problem. Yeah. If you think serial dating and serial breakups, serial marriages, serial pregnancies are any less problematic, maybe a little bit, but honestly, not by all that much. It's still a problem. It's still importing a distraction that turns into its own problem to distract you from the thing you actually really need to clean up. And for some of us, that thing just might be boredom. Boredom is like my Achilles heel. I am more afraid of being bored than I'm afraid of almost anything else. It's because like when I was a kid, I felt like I was alone all the time and my mom was off doing all these cool things and I was like trapped inside the house. It's why I had to live in New York City for like 15 years. So I'm like, I have to be cool. I have to be where the cool things are. And I forced myself to live here in the suburbs and to look the monster of boredom and uncoolness in the face and just finally fucking deal with it because I burnt out. I just hit the wall in New York. My central nervous system just glitched out. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't run at this speed. I can't pretend like this is making me happy. It's making me crazy. Right? And if you're feeling like that with heartbreak after heartbreak, and I understand, try just sitting still. Literally try doing as little as possible. Journal. I've been using this app. This isn't an ad. It's called Bloom. Do you guys use it? It's a cognitive behavioral therapy app. I really like it, but it's a lot of like journaling prompts and like basically how to feel your feelings and not believe every feeling that you have like it's the truth, which blew my mind. I'm like, what do you mean? Everything that my brain tells me is the truth. And I didn't even realize that that was how I felt. But based on how I behaved, oh, yes, it was. It absolutely was. Based on my anxiety, yes, it absolutely was. Any bad thought that came into my brain, well, this is the truth. Crystal says I better hurry up and keep dating. So yeah. And like you can look at your thoughts and be like, is that true? I don't think that's true. It might be, but it also might not be. So let's err on the side of caution and not 100% believe it and change our behaviors like this is the truth. Like that's crazy. What am I doing? It's been really helpful. It's called Bloom. Try it. It's It's great. I think you can do like a month for free. It's still like $20 a year or something. Again, this is not an ad. I just really like this app and it's been really helpful. Anyway, but if you have like an app or something that you do to kind of like gain mastery over these thoughts, please tell me. Like I definitely want to hear. The more the better. You know, let's collab on all this. But I have been on a journey this past year to feel my feelings and to feel everything and to confront the boredom monster and to not run and to every time I'm brokenhearted, not go get on a plane. And you know, it's progress, not perfection. I don't think I've like completely slayed all these dragons and I'm no longer a serial dater. Like I hate being completely single. I always want to have somebody that I'm talking to. But now I feel like it's more of a choice. It's an action, not just a reaction. Oh my God, I feel something. Where's a guy? You know, get me back on Bumble. Get me on Snapchat. It's like, no, just these feelings aren't actually going to kill you. The thing that you have to tackle and deal with, whether it's unpacking an emotional box or unpacking a literal box, what is in there? How have I been staring? Okay, I'll deal with it today. That's not going to kill you either. Your central nervous system is going to tell you these feelings are going to kill you. Crystal is going to tell you those feelings, they're going to fucking kill you, girl. You know why? Because you're awake. No, you're not. Feelings have never killed anybody. Actions kill people. You can feel things and you can survive them. And weirdly, I swear to God this is true. I swear to God this is true. It's a splinter. It is a splinter. I've used this analogy a million times because it's true. A splinter, if you leave it, it festers, it gets infected, the whole area hurts and it lasts forever. But if you can be brave and just, ow, and you just pull it out, it heals. And that ow was concentrated, but it's over. That is the firework you want. That is the firework you want. You don't want the fireplace of pain. You want the firework, right? Did we just stumble onto something huge? This is huge, I feel like. If you are like, I got to get this flashbang fix, girl, be brave, be an alpha, and use that energy to do the flashbang splinter pullout. Get a therapist and start dealing with the trauma. Open those boxes. Get your ass to the gym. Instead of the firework of whatever drug, actual drugs, alcohol, shopping, gambling, sex, boys, Snapchat, Bumble, that you're adding to distract yourself from that splinter, right? And I know what you're saying. Dealing with trauma isn't quite as quick as pulling out a splinter, but thanks. I know that. I've been doing it for a very long time. But the action of accepting that you are going to deal with it is. The commitment is. Of course, you don't go to the gym once, you're like, thin. Like that's not how it works, right? It's part of those systems. Do you see how this all ties together? It creates the systems. The decision to look, whatever it is, the monster under the bed, whatever that is, the decision to look that in the face is the firework. That is the splinter. I remember an alcoholic saying one time, I don't know if it was, I don't know where I heard this, if it was something, whatever, but they're like, it's easy not to drink because the hard part was the negotiation. The hard part was should I drink this? Every bar you walk into, every time you sit down to dinner, every time you come home from work, should I have a drink? I know I shouldn't. Should I? It was the back and forth. I don't want to, but I should. But once you make the decision, no. The answer is always no. The answer is no at home. The answer is no at a bar. The answer is no at a restaurant. It's always a no. The negotiation ends. And negotiation is cognitive dissonance, right? It's what I want doesn't match how I'm acting. It doesn't match the reality. It's the incongruence. Is that right? Incongruence? Incongruity. It's that. But once you're like, I go to the gym. That's who I am the girl who goes to the gym 3 times a week. I am the girl who gets her steps in every day. I am the girl who never misses a therapy appointment. Even when I don't want to, even when I think it's not going to help, even when I'm in a bad mood, I go. There is simply zero negotiation. Okay? That sets up those systems. That creates a life where you are suddenly the brave girl. I'm the girl who goes to the gym. I'm the girl who goes to therapy. Those are not minor commitments. Those are major commitments. And maybe the commitment can be minor. I'm the girl who always does the dishes after she eats. I always leave the kitchen clean. I'm the girl who never leaves her clothes on the floor. I'm the girl who always makes her bed. Start there. That's where I started. I was like, I will make my bed every single day of my life for the rest of my life. And I do. And I started there and I was like, okay, I can do that. I can be trusted with this. What can I stack on top of there? I am going to go to therapy. I'm just never going to miss. I am never going to cancel on my trainer. You know, you can stack that. And then this builds this foundation of fucking bravery. And then you can be like, now what is it I really need to tackle? Oh, is it the issues with my father? Is it my work-life balance? Is it my financial situation? My issues with my sisters? Whatever it is. When you can do that, then when a guy comes along, you can say to yourself, you know what? I am being so good in all these other categories that I am taking that same energy into dating, where I'm not just like, I need you. No, I want you, because I'm not the girl who's running away from things anymore and running into something bad just because it's loud and creating a flashbang distraction. No, I'm not afraid. If I was afraid, I wouldn't make my bed every day. I wouldn't go to the gym. I wouldn't go to therapy. I wouldn't pay all my bills on time. I wouldn't clean up my dishes. I'd be a real chicken shit. And that's not me. So in that way, if you still want to date a bunch of guys, fucking go for it, because you're doing everything else right. And that's the place I'm at. I'm like, listen, I'm not using guys as a distraction. I can look myself in the eye. I can look my mom in the eye, my therapist, my friends, and be like, everything else in my life is great. This is the category that's missing. I want a partner. I want a boyfriend. I want to get laid. Wouldn't say that to my mom, but you know what I mean. And so, yeah, I'm going to have guys on rotation. Yeah, I always want to be talking to someone because I have been brave enough to look at all these other things. Everything is firing. There is progress, if not perfection. It is okay. So it's fine that I'm doing this. I'm choosing it. It is proactive. It is not reactive. It's not reactive. It feels different. I'm moving different. It looks different. And best of all, there's probably different outcomes. But let's touch on one more thing. What if you're a serial dater? Not really by choice, but hold on. Let's touch on one more thing here. Serial monogamy. Serial monogamy. This might be an unpopular opinion, and we're going to do a point and a counterpoint, okay? I think serial monogamy is not great. Not great. Because what that says to me is you have these long-term relationships that for whatever reason, you don't get married, you know, like you're not really taking them past a certain point. You're not moving in together. You're not making these large commitments, you know? So you're together for like a year and a half, year or two, and then it goes belly up. And then you're in another serious relationship. What I hear is and people will say that as like this weird point of pride. Oh, I'm a serial monogamist. It's like, do you think that means, are you trying to convince the world you're not a slut? Who cares if you're a slut? Go out and be a hoe. Sleep with as many people as you want. Do whatever you want. I don't care. I don't think that's better, because what I hear is, well, I wanted a big commitment from this guy and he wouldn't give it to me. So I just literally latched onto the very next guy I came across, because as I just said, I'm never really single. So how the fuck is that possible? You clearly don't date around. You don't comparison shop. You're like, oh, you'll do. So that, all I hear is desperation, right? If that's how it plays out, you want these big commitments, you're not getting them, you just move on. That's desperation. You are casting for the role of boyfriend. You don't really care who it is. Or it's the opposite. You get in deep. He wants to make a commitment. You freak out and you run. And then you're like, oh, let's just start over. That, baby girl, the problem is you. The problem is you. The problem probably wasn't this guy. Maybe it was a little bit. But the fact that you keep having these outcomes means that you're kind of the common denominator. If guys keep wanting to commit to you and you're bugging out and you're like, well, let's just start the clock over. I could just buy myself some more time. You don't have to get married. You don't have to make big commitments, but you do have to be honest about What's going on beneath the surface? So if you came here thinking, oh, I'm not a serial dater, I'm a serial monogamist. Yeah, I came for your neck, okay? Come for everybody's, especially my own. Well, let me come again for the serial daters next. Like, kind of same for you, just maybe a different timeline. If things chronically don't work out, now listen, of course, part of this is simply dating. And part of this is just not everything works out. You get married, what, once or twice in a lifetime? You don't marry every single person you date. Chances are you will break up with people. But if we can, again, do that work of like, what is the monster under the bed for me being alone? What does that mean to me? What is my crystal fear brain saying to me in those dark moments when I want to reach for the Bumble, when I want to call my ex, when I want to fuck every guy in this bar? What is she saying? Why? Get curious, not furious. Ask yourself these questions without judgment. There's no wrong answer. There's no cringe answer. We're all incredibly cringe. I just told you, I love boys because I'm still 5 years old. Wow. You know, like we're all just cringe monsters. That's okay. That's all right. You don't have to tell anybody else this. Write it in your journal. Really write it out. Be like, what am I running from? What am I running towards? Do I really want to get married because I don't know how to stand up to my parents on my own, and I need someone to like be in my corner because I felt by myself my whole life. Okay. I'm not saying don't ever get married. You should never be with guys. No, but once you're aware of what's fueling you, you can gain mastery over it. And these emotions and these motivations, I'm not saying they're going to evaporate overnight. I'm not even saying they should evaporate. What's so wrong with wanting someone in your corner? What's so wrong with wanting to have a boyfriend so you have to have a work-life balance? None of that's wrong. But it's wrong when you aren't the one in the driver's seat, right? That's not very fun. When you know what's going on and when you can decide proactively, or when you can at least be honest, hey, I know what's fueling this. I'm aware of it. Then you're the boss. And that's what it's all about. Tell me your thoughts. Talk about Taylor, talk about this, talk about cognitive behavioral therapy, and I will talk to you guys later. See you later, alligators.